Yeah, so the Apple topic. If you don't update your app for a long enough period of time, Apple wants to just remove it from the store.
Which is great because if an app works perfectly fine, but you're just like not putting in the work to, you know, smooth the lines, okay, curve the corners.
And that's, I mean, this is an extremely good point because this is my whole problem with the whole situation is like if the core idea of this program was, hey, your app has been throwing an excessive amount of errors, like so they have these statistics, right? They have like your app versus apps that compare to yours. And then they have error rates and stuff. So they can show you like, are you relatively industry standard in terms of your crash rates and error rates and stuff? And they'll have like, sometimes you'll spike way above that. And it's like, whoa, you need to fix something. If it was like, okay, your app hasn't been updated in 2 years and it's just throwing errors like crazy and it's crashing all the time and it's just a horrible mess, we want to remove it from the store unless you fix some things. That is much more understandable to me. But there's genuinely a significant amount of applications that just like work fine. And they're like, hasn't been updated in a while, so they want to remove it. I believe a genuinely would make it past them easy way to fix this, by the way, for any developers out there that are potentially listening, is literally just a version bump. I actually don't think you have to change anything. So I would suggest doing that. It's unfortunate that you have to do that to like preserve things. I personally have an app on the Android store that I've had that hasn't received an update in I think like 4 years, and it still works completely flawlessly and has worked with every single phone I've ever migrated it to. So I hope Google doesn't go down the same route because I would like to keep using that app, and I don't think the company that made it like literally exists anymore. So I don't think it will be getting an update. But yeah, several developers took to Twitter last Saturday complaining that Apple was taking their apps down from the store within 30 days because they had not updated in a significant amount of time. Apple demanded that the developers must submit an update within that 30 days in order to keep it on the store. This is part of Apple's what they're calling app improvement system, which is a plan to remove abandoned and problematic apps from the App Store, which was launched in 2016. Again, the problem here is when they're just removing things that they are deeming abandoned, not when they're removing things that are problematic. Because an app can genuinely, especially certain like self-contained games and stuff, can get to a point where they are completed. They don't need further updates. They don't have user-generated content. They don't have future features. They just work and it's fine. And I don't think developers should have to keep working on that.
How many of these are we doing?
How many
6?
have we done?
Okay, hold on. You're on the last one then.
Okay.
Sigh. Okay.
Yes, Luke. Good job.
Thanks. It's worth pointing out that apps removed from the App Store remain available for re-download. It just won't be listed for sale or free download to new users, which is like cool, I guess, but not great. This has also raised several concerns, which read like questions, but are in fact open questions being asked by the community for indie developers. So indie developers just appear to be disproportionately targeted. That makes sense. Indie developers aren't going to be able to long-term maintain as many apps, and might make something that, say it's a purchase game, not a subscription game, and there's no microtransactions. Those games usually have a shorter tail on them. So if they make something, it's great. It sells really well for a year, say, and stops selling. You want to keep it on the store because maybe you still get sales every once in a while. You want people that own the game from the past to be able to download it more easily, even if they switch accounts or something, and doesn't need an update. But yeah, that makes sense. If an app is complete and works on modern devices, what is the reason for an update? Well, there isn't one. That would be my answer to it. Does this kind of requirement incentivize developers to release rushed/broken apps or respond slowly to bug reports to keep the possibilities for updates open? Honestly, for that one, no, I don't think so. Because again, I'm pretty sure you can get by with just a version bump. And if you can't get by with a version bump, you should be able to get by with like changing the color of a line and also version bumping. So I would go that route if people really want to keep their stuff up there. There is a discussion question from, I believe the writer of this was Anthony Young. If games are art, then does this effectively mean that Apple is asking for art to be constantly updated, whether it needs it or not? Yes, that is specifically what they're doing. I definitely agree with that. How would we feel about this standard being applied to TV shows, movies, famous paintings, sculptures, etc.?
So Seinfeld
Pretty
just gets
bad.
removed if they don't, add more jokes or remove bad jokes.
Certain Greek statues just have like progressively longer members over time.
I love it.
Well,
Well, we really felt it needed arms. This is varms.o.
Well, the concept of an always changing piece of art itself is arguably art. Yeah, I could think of situations like that could be interesting. Think of art/place.
Okay,
right?
hold on. Sabin1001 says Seinfeld doesn't have abandoned library dependencies in it.
Seinfeld?
Well, yeah, it's saying that, if an app has abandoned library dependencies, and that could actually be a legitimate problem, and there could be a reason for Apple to do this.
But that would like throw errors and have
Yeah.
that would fall under what I was talking about before.
Yeah, but I wasn't listening because I was busy
Okay. Makes
drawing
sense.
on dinosaurs.
So what I was saying was like I get it if it is like way above statistical
It's fine. You don't have to
averages
catch
for
me up.
errors
I
and
think
stuff.
it's stupid.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, and thanks to MechanicalKeyboards.com for sponsoring this week's clips. MechanicalKeyboards.com has a ton of keyboards, switches, keycaps, and more, all from brands you know and love. Check them out and use code LTT using the link in the video description.